Greetings and welcome, my friends. This is Pacific Rim 2, the synthesizer deck featuring big robot men and a big kaiju to gain board advantage. We've got some familiar tools as well as a new one to go along with our Discover package that threatens to populate the board with our men and robot overlords. We have a sweeper for small men that we can use to clear out early enemies if we need to buy time. We start with all 4 copies of 3 Steps Ahead. It's a very versatile card in our deck as we can easily use each of the 3 modes on the card, but the one we're most likely to use in most situations is the copy ability to make a token copy of a synthesizer. If we need it, it can also be a counterspell for any card that threatens to take out more than one artifact on our board. The Chainsaw is the new addition to the deck. It's a removal artifact that can snipe opposing men with toughness 3 or less and will get a rev counter every time any creature dies. With enough counters, even our smallest men can be a big threat. Originally, we were trying to pair the Chainsaw with the Forge, since Forge tokens will grow the rev counters, but the Forge proved to be less effective than the Thran Spider. Patchwork Banner has become a staple for our synthesizer decks, as it can pump our robot overlords, as well as provide additional mana to help play out our more expensive cards, or even let us double spell a pair artifacts to trigger the synthesizer. The banner can even pump any of our other men to make them a bit bigger if we need. They Synthesizer is the factory that will pump out robot overlords to crush the opponent. Every artifact we play out that is 3 mana or more will generate one of our AI. All hail our robot overlords. The Helm is a perfect partner to the synthesizer as it can make more robot overlords or even make token copies of the synthesizer if we've managed to make a token copy of it with a 3 Steps Ahead. As a bonus, every time we generate a token, we get a map token as well. This lets us flood our board with artifacts to boost our robot overlord stats. The Spider is a powerful artifact in any synthesizer deck as it generates 2 artifacts when we play it out. The Power Stone token we get also helps in getting more artifacts in play or paying for the activation of the Helm. The Geological Appraiser is a fantastic card with Discover 3, the perfect number to find us a synthesizer or to get something that could trigger the synthesizer. Note that it gets the Discover only when it's played out, so making a token copy of it with 3 Steps Ahead wouldn't do anything. Invasion of Karsus is our little sweeper that will hit men that have toughness 3 or less. Flipping it gets us a Refraction Elemental that hits the opponent for 2 damage every time we play a card. This counts cards we get from a Discover, so we can really apply some more pain if we manage to flip it. Chimil, the Inner Sun, is a powerful artifact that will get us a free card at the end of every one of our turns. If it's not a permanent, we'll get the card in hand. But if it hits on an artifact, we can get free synthesizer triggers. As a bonus, having Chimil in play means our plays cannot be countered. The Carnosaur is our raging kaiju with a beefy Discover 5. For 3 mana, we can also channel it to hit an enemy or an opposing planeswalker for 3 damage. Unlike the Appraiser, we can make a token copy of the Carnosaur and get its Discover 5 ability when it enters play. If things go right, the Carnosaur will likely be one of our smaller men in play, but it does come with trample. For lands, we have 2 Mirrex, the land that can generate artifact token men. 2 Fomori Vault, the land we can use to search out an artifact off the top of our library. 4 Fabled Passage, the land we can sacrifice to fetch out any basic land from our library. 4 Thundering Falls, the Izzet Surveil land. 4 Mountain. 2 Hidden Volcano, the red land we can sacrifice to discover 4 Island. And 2 Hidden Cataract, the blue land we can sacrifice to discover 4. Playing the deck is fairly easy and fun, with our early turns being used to set up our mana to help play out our cards. Generally, we need only 1 blue but 2 red to play out our cards. Without an early synthesizer, focus on ramping with the Spider or the Banner, then go for cards with Discover to try to hit on a synthesizer. Fire off removals as needed while building up a board and play out Appraisers as soon as you have the opportunity. With a synthesizer on board, it should be pretty easy to build up a large board and pile up an army of robot overlords. Making a token copy of synthesizer with a 3 Steps Ahead is always huge, enough to seal the game up. Follow it up with a Helm if possible, and make a token synthesizer on each of our turns for maximum effect. One possible change to the deck would involve taking out the Carnosaur and replacing it with the Blue Season, and use it to make copies of the synthesizer or use it to draw. Other than that, there isn't much that can be done to improve the deck. We've been trying out different cards for about a month, and this is the best version performance-wise. That's the deck, boys. Let's go play some games.
Do you want to play a game?
This is Joe Dirt. No, wait, it's Lurt. Are you a librarian, bro? Check out my books. We kick things off with a shuffler special, only one blue with some of our cards needing red. Sometimes we try these hands out, but this one is much too risky to keep. Let's send it back. Mull. Then we get another shuffler special, but this time we do have red. Our Surveil land gives us a chance to help find a third land. Keep your pants on. Of course, our Surveil land shows us a synthesizer. We can't toss it in the grave. That's our key card right there. They play out a Gremlin Tamer, the little guy that makes little guys. It's a good card that can suddenly flood the board with little men. It's not a card we can let them keep if we can help it. And luckily we have a chainsaw we can play out to snipe their Tamer. The Tamer has been tamed. Get gone, girl. They play out a Carrot Cake, but it looks like they're stuck on 2 lands. Join the club, bro. We've yet to draw a third land. The shuffler is mad at everyone today. They play out a Forge, which is good for us as well as them. They'll get a token that they have to sacrifice at the end of their turn, but that will get us additional rev counters on our chainsaw. Thanks for helping us out, bro. To my amazement, we get a Mirrex. Let's get it down and slam our synthesizer. We've got another banner and a 3 steps ahead on top. We like them both, but we'll draw the banner first. They come in with their Forge token and Rabbit, but have no follow-up enchantments to go with their Tamer. That's too bad for them. This turn will be a Spider turn. It's a decent blocker that gets us 2 artifacts for the price of 1. That Power Stone token is so good, especially when we're stuck on only 3 lands. Our first Robot Overlord comes out the factory as a 5/5. All they can do is eat their Carrot Cake. Better get some more of those, bro. A Sheltered by Ghosts is their play. In this case, it's not bad since they'll be taking our Robot Overlord. But when they snag an actual card, a removal takes out not just their creature but the enchantment, and we get what they took back on our side. They come in again, we know that we'll be getting more Robot Overlords. So blocking the Forge token lets us prevent the most damage. Let's stay in the fight as long as we can. We'll play out another Spider, more artifacts, more tokens, bigger Robot Overlord. Plus, we can double banner on our next turn and really crank out the robot men. Their play is a Paragon, but that's all they can do for their turn. The Forge token doesn't even bother trying to come in. It's starting to smell like fear, boys. The token still has to die, so we'll get another rev counter on Chainsaw whether they like it or not. We get a 4th land and we'll play out a banner. The flag of war goes up. With 4 mana, we can play out the invasion and clear out most of their men. We can send in our robot overlord for a big hit, but maybe we should flip our invasion. Joe Dirt hits the bricks. He's seen enough to make him cry. GG's Joe Dirt. This the Hawk Tua girl? No, wait, it's Totetsu. He looks like a robot overlord. That stare, bro? I cannot lie. I love Shuffler specials. Just kidding. Curse you, Shuffler. One of these days I'm gonna shove it up your grave. All we need is a 3rd and 4th land and we'll be on fire. Keep your hopes up. We get the 3rd land right away. Now all we need is time and opportunity. We would like to hit a 4th land, so let's not pull a land out of our deck right away. They throw down the Iron Crag, a good mana artifact that's only downfall is it is legendary. We get our 4th land and we have become mighty. You can feel the power surge. Let's crack the passage for an island, and we can get the party started on our next turn. Are they on Synthesizer too? A spider for them helps us out tremendously. Don't play it unless you play Synthesizer. It could help the opponent out more than you think. Without playing another land, we can drop our Synthesizer. The factory is online and production will begin immediately. On top, we have a land and a chainsaw, both of which we can send on down. We already have a chainsaw in hand, and it's possible we might not be able to snipe anything with it. Let's clear out these cards and hope for better. Our Surveil land shows us an Appraiser on top. They are always good no matter what. We'll keep him for a future turn. Hilda's crown? What's going on over there? It can keep a guy tapped down, but we're planning on having more than one robot overlord. We'll play out the spider and generate our first robot overlord. The factory is going to be working overtime to crank these guys out. They sniped the spider? Do they even know about robot overlords? You sniped the wrong thing, bro. We'll even play out the chainsaw since that will be a stat booster for our AI. Let's make them tap our overlord with their crown. We know they will. They've got almost no choice but to tap it down. If we get this Chimil down, it's going to be all over, and it goes down smooth as melted butter. Shorts are being stained over there. Keep it together, bro. Maybe try out some Depends. We get a free chainsaw that works to boost our robot overlords. Are they even sane? Oh wait, they got a synthesizer. That was worth it, I suppose. Although they are pretty far behind and will have to work triple time to catch up. We draw a second synthesizer, and with double factories, the pain will be magnified. Somehow we've got double lands on top. The Mirrex would be fine to play out, but Chimil won't let us draw it. Them's the breaks. Let's ship them both. We'll try going in for damages. All that's left to see is if they block up or take the hit. I was going to save the 3 steps ahead for a surprise synthesizer copy, but I don't think they'll be swinging in anytime soon. Let's make a copy now and triple the factory output. We get a land and an invasion on top, but we can do better. Let's send them down and see about getting something to trigger our synthesizers. Chimil gets us a helm. I mean, when the going gets good, we crank out more robot overlords. The factories can turn them out. 20 robot overlords. We can kill 8 opponents with our men. They fire off a deadly cover-up, but that's not going to let them catch up. They're cooked like last year's Thanksgiving turkey. They go after our 3 steps ahead, but we've already made a synthesizer copy. They need to shut down the factories. They play out their own factory, but their production runs are going to be too small compared to our team's. All right, Appraiser, get in there, bro. Find us something good. A banner is perfectly fine. The assembly line is working overtime to meet demand. Chimil gets us another Appraiser. Appraise away, bro. And that's another banner. I'm kinda surprised bro hasn't scooped it up yet. Another deadly cover-up, but there's only so many of those they can fire off. What we have in the grave that they can take away won't affect factory production. Another banner will generate another 3 robot overlords. You're gonna need another sweeper, bro. Chimil has been clutch all game long. We get another helm and that will be more AI on our side. We heart robot overlords. Their first robot overlord is 30 power less than one of ours. Very nice, bro. Your robot overlord probably needs a set of depends as well. Those 9/9s are pretty cute, bro. I like your style. We draw a spider, but there's no need to make any plays. Let's get in for damages. They've got to go clean out their trousers. GG's, bro. This is Steve Elliott. We know who you are, bro. Prepare your shorts for a staining. We've survived the Shuffler specials and moved on to the 3-lander portion of our gaming experience. The only problem here is all our lands will enter tapped. Finding a basic to play out would be a bonus, but we have the ammo we need. Keep your pants on. On our first draw, we get a second synthesizer. I mean, sometimes the shuffler kills you, but sometimes it kills the opponent. We've got a Mirrex on top, which we'll keep. That's an untapped land on turn 3. The opponent makes a 2/2, which could be bigger when flipped over, but we're not concerned about that. We've got factories to fire up and production runs to start up. Another 2/2, bro. You're gonna kill us with those. Stop it. Also, I'm kidding. All right, first factory gets deployed. Let's see what we got on top. A pair of lands. We'll keep the island, as that, combined with the banner, will make 6 mana, and that's what we'll need to play out the Gander Chimil. They come in for hits, but have nothing else going on. We haven't drawn any of our removals, but there's a chance we won't need any. Let's start up another factory and get production going on our AI men. We have a Chimil and a Spider on top. We already have one of the legendary artifacts in hand, so we'll ship this one but keep the Spider. They fire off a removal on our first robot overlord. Well done, bro. You've got us on the run. They flip one of their guys, and it's a green overlord. The overlord battle that everyone has been waiting for has finally arrived. You saw it here first. It's a double spell turn for us. We'll play out the banner first, and that will let us play out the Spider. It might be a bit early, but I think the tables have been turned. Oh bro, you're putting all your hopes on a deadly cover-up? It's a short-term solution and delays the end by a turn. All they can do is take the Spider, but we've got so much more that can trigger the synthesizers. Chimil lands like a hammer. It's going to crush their hopes and dreams. That's another factory joining our side. Get ready for pain, bro. That 2/2 is going to squeal at the sight of our overlords. That's GG's, extra cheese. This is the one and only rod handler. We'll give you a rod to handle, but you probably can't handle it. Another solid 3-lander, we've got a synthesizer and a pair of removals if we need them. As we like to say around here, keep your pants on. Our surveil land reveals a helm on top. That's going to land like a gut punch when we play it out. We've got 1 red mana, but we need 2, so we'll grab a mountain with the passage. All we need now is a 4th land of any kind for the appraiser. They are on Dimir, so we'll test for a counter with a Spider. There is a slight hitch, so it's possible they have something. They snipe the Spider, but that's all right. We get the Power Stone token, so all is not lost. They all but tap out for a Realm Breaker, the Mill artifact. That's our window to play out our first factory. We've got an appraiser on top, along with a 3 steps ahead. We do want both, but we don't have the mana for the appraiser, so we'll have to send him on down. The 3 steps ahead is too good to ship. All we need is a fourth land and we can make an instant copy of our synthesizer. They play out a blast zone, which they can use to eventually take out our synthesizer. When playing against a blast zone, you have to pressure them as much as possible to make them use it. They go for mill and take out our 3 steps ahead. 0 lands when in our grave. We draw a banner. That's awesome. Playing it out gets us 1 mana short of playing out Chimil. We'll play out the chainsaw. Any removals they fire off will get us rev counters and make our appraisers a force. They add a counter to their blast zone. We know they'll eventually take it up to 3. That'll hit the banner and the synthesizer, but robot overlords are immune to blasts. They mill us some more, but don't have anything for our robot overlord. We draw into a second synthesizer, and if it weren't for the blast zone, that would have been our play this turn. Instead, we'll land the appraiser. So far, it seems like they don't play counterspells. The appraiser pulls a miracle out of his pants and poops out a 3rd synthesizer. The opponent knows about this one, but that's fine. We're going to hold it until they've popped their blast zone. There it is. 3 counters on the blast zone. Blast away, bro. Or are you going to wait until we play out another synthesizer? They shrink our overlord down to a 2/2. Very nice. Then a second virtue takes him out. The chainsaw approves this message. This kind of mill deck is absolutely the dullest to play against. If you hear snoring, it's not my fault. They finally feel the need to blow up everything at 3 mana. That'll save them a point of damage from the appraiser. They tap out for a removal. We're in the clear to land a factory. Call up the teams, we've got production runs to fire up. We'll play out the banner first and name construct. Every point might be critical for our robot overlords. We have 2 invasions on top, but we'll send 1 on down. They haven't played any men at all, so it's likely they don't have any. They play out one of their virtues. We know what they're up to. They'll use our men against us, but they can't get our robot overlords on their side. All they can do is get blockers. They tap out for another realm breaker. We're gonna put their removals to the test. They check out the Appraiser. You have to cast it, bro. It won't be doing anything for you when it enters from the grave. We draw a chainsaw, and this one will get to snipe something. A second factory will be our follow-up. They fire off a removal on our robot overlord, but the AI feel no pain. The factory runs will be doubled, and our men will outnumber their removals. We've got another synthesizer on top, but let's safeguard our future by placing it on the bottom. If they destroy our synthesizers now, at least we know we have another in the deck. Our double factory board should be enough to crush them. They learned their lesson and go with a spider this time instead, but getting the spider helps us out. It's a rough day for this mill player. Let's helmet up in here. That's another pair of men for us, and just one of our robot overlords getting through would be lethal. We have a passage on top which we'll leave. They could mill us at a moment's notice, and if they don't, Chimil will clear it out so we won't be drawing it. They mill 3 lands away. Thanks, bro. I appreciate the assistance. Then Chimil gets us a banner. That's unfortunate. For them. You're gonna need 5 blockers, bro, or 2 men and 3 removals, or a board wipe. A board wipe it is, then. We could counter it, but we're gonna make a synthesizer token at the end of their turn. Surprise, bro, what are you gonna do now? Mill us? Their head explodes, but I didn't see any brains. GG's, bro, extra cheese. And that, my friends, is another satisfied customer.